call the meeting to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I want to welcome everyone to the school board meeting this evening. Remind everyone that we are also live streaming this meeting when the green light is on. Appreciate everyone being present. It's great to see a room full, and we're super excited to get to meet everyone and see what all the commotion is about. However, we'll start with a motion to accept consent agenda items.
So moved.
I have a motion by Pat. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl. Any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll move down to community non-agenda items. We do have Brush Creek Elementary for our spotlight.
Yes, they're kicking off the return of our spotlights, which I know is one of our very favorite things. So Mrs. Morgan Likens, principal at Brush Creek, is here to share with us.
I brought some second graders with me and some fabulous second grade teachers, Mrs. Davis and Mrs. Hillen. We're here to showcase some of the work we're doing at Brush Creek tonight, involving STEM especially. As you know, last year we became STEM certified. So we're really excited to kind of show you what that looks like in the classroom with a summary of an integrated STEM project that our students completed. So without further ado, I'm going to let them get into their places and show off what they've learned.
Maybe we could just step out so they could face the audience,
Yes,
because
so
we want to make sure people take good pictures.
Madison, you want to scoot this way, dear?
Can you use the podium, or can I move that out of the way? Visibility.
Hi, my name is Madison. We began our BAT unit by reading the fictional book Stella Luna. We spent 1 week reading and studying this book. We discussed character traits, plot, summarizing, point of view, and sequencing. At the end of the week, we put together a trifold to showcase what we learned.
Hi, my name is Anne. After Stella Luna, we began reading and researching bat species around the world. We read Bats by Gail Gibbons and many other non-fiction articles. We learned a lot about our local Indiana bat species. The most important thing we learned was that many of these species are endangered.
Hi, my name is Casey. After we learned that many of our local bat species are endangered, we researched things we can do. The first thing is to help people understand how important bats are. The second thing is to plant pollinator gardens, to attract insects, to feed bats. The last thing is to build bat boxes. Humans are taking away bat habitats, so building bat boxes is a great way to help.
Hi, my name is Grayson. We use the website, YouTube videos, and the Bat Box Builder's Handbook to research the correct way to build a bat box. There are special measurements, specific colors, and placements that we needed to know. We used this information to design our own bat boxes.
Hi, my name is Rowan. After all of our groups designed our bat box, our class each built a bat box. We used pre-cut wood planks, nails, and hammer to put them together. You can see we are very proud of our work. Hi, my name is Lauren. We completed our bat unit with Bat Day. Ms. Davis and Ms. Hillen gave us tasks to complete to become junior chiropterologists. A chiropterologist is somebody who studies bats. We had the best day. We were able to become junior chiropterologists by completing a bat lab, napping activities, and more. In our pictures, you can see how our classrooms were transformed into caves. Miss Davis and Miss Helen made this day really special with all the decorations. I think I will remember this day forever.
And they do remember this day forever. They would love if we had some pictures of their bat unit. So if we could kind of show that, kind of go through some of those slides there.
Guys, we have one more sentence. We have one more sentence.
Good job, guys. Very good.
Yes, they have one little line they're dying.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you for your time and supporting our learning.
Morgan, will you jump in too?
Oh, yes, I can.
Thank you guys so much for teaching us.
So proud of you.
Everyone
Oh,
get your
that
phones
box
out.
set.
We'll pause the meeting and let everybody get pictures.
1, 2, 3, cheese.
All right, parents. Hold still, wait a minute, we got lots more pictures.
It's like the paparazzi. Most famous all day. Okay.
Everybody get them?
All good? You guys did such a good
Well
job.
done.
What is that?
Kyro what?
And there are chiropterologists.
Oh my goodness gracious. I can never say that. That's a long word.
I'm gonna make a donation in
You
their
taught me
name.
something new tonight, that's for
For
sure.
next year.
Good job.
Chiropractor. I thought we were yeah, be at the December meeting.
And it's easier for predators to get to them.
Oh.
I bet they were so excited. You guys were amazing.
You're amazing. What's a bat expert called again?
A chiropterologist.
Thank you.
Good job.
Nice
Well
job.
done. Nice job, guys.
Thank you, parents, for bringing them.
That was so cute.
Really quickly, before the parents leave, just really quickly, I don't know in the second grade if I could have ever gotten up in front of a group like this. We're scary, you all are a little scary, right? But I just want to say how proud we are of the kids. That was just amazing and wonderful job. You all are doing a phenomenal job, both in the school and at home. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I know the word now.
What is it? Tell me
I can't pronounce
I knew that, Lauren. You're gonna have to tell them again.
one more time.
What's a bat expert?
Chiropterologist.
Chiropterologist.
All I have to say is that's a really big
What was
word.
it, Phil? He's threatening a donation for the December meeting. That name.
Well done. Very well done. Thank you for bringing the kids in. I always enjoy that. Just appreciate very much seeing what's going on with STEM, with the work that you all are doing in the school. And I know it doesn't just happen in your school, it happens throughout the corporation, but to highlight that group of kids, wonderful job. Thank you. So next we'll ask if anyone is present who would like to speak to any item on the agenda or any other topic. Okay? Hearing none, we'll go down to old business. which it looks like we have none, so now we are going down to new business.
Yes, I have a group of Neola policies. This is just the informed first reading. We're trying to finish up one volume and getting started on a new, very lengthy one. So please reach out if you have any questions. I'm going to try to keep bringing them in sets.
Okay, great. So this item is an inform. We'll vote on these at the next board meeting. Next, we're down under administration policy.
Yes, asking for approval of the administrator stipend for the year. This is a one-time stipend that matches the same amount as the teachers, and the list of names is included in your packet. So asking for approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion by Cheryl. I have a second by Mary Lynn. Any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll go down to programs.
Yes, this is an inform. This is course additions for 2026-27 school year for the high school. These new course proposed additions are included in your board packet. There are 12, and I'll read the titles. I won't read all the details in your packet. But they'll be available for the students to pick at registration. If they meet the minimum enrollment guidelines, they will be offered. Some of these courses will help meet some of the new diploma requirements, which you're going to learn about in a little bit. But in English, there are 4: children's literature, crime and literature, exploring justice, psychology, and storytelling, mind over media, critical thinking and argumentation, communication skills for the real-world success. In mathematics, there'll be, we're requesting a technical math. In science, advanced life science, plants, advanced life science, animals, Earth Space Science 2, in PE and Health, Introduction to Athletic Performance, Recreational Lifting, Gridiron Games, Hoosier Hysteria, World Language, Workplace Spanish, CTE, Introduction to Public Service. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or the high school administration.
Perfect. So again, these are course additions. It is an inform on the agenda. Next, we'll move down under the new JCHS diploma.
Yes, Mr. Uller and Mrs. Ebbing is here to do a presentation over the new diploma.
Thank you, guys. And you guys are scary. I will agree.
As are you.
Fair enough. No, so our freshmen this year, class of 2029, are the first ones that have been brought into this new Indiana diploma. And this has been a project 2 to 3 years in the making as we started hearing about new ideas, and then the first reading and the second draft and the third final rule. So we've implemented some things, but we knew with this new diploma as this class came in, we would need to continue to adjust as we went through. So Sean, if you'll go to the next slide. The basic idea behind it is having a single base diploma. If you know now, we had basically 4 diplomas. We had our general diploma, our Core 40 diploma, an academic honors diploma, and then a technical honors diploma. The state really wanted to generalize and get one base diploma with then readiness seals that would show if they're ready for enrollment in the college, employment, or enlistment into the military. I will say the first thing that is really a positive about this is the flexibility it gives to our students. And when you see some of those course titles that we just mentioned as the inform, especially in English, a lot of us that have been doing this for a while remember English 9, English 10, English 11, English 12. What this diploma has given us is the ability to really open up those options and create some personalized learning and some courses that will fit in with some of these career sequences that we've built into the school. So really exciting stuff. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Ebbing about what the exact requirements are.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through each of the areas, just like in the old diploma. Obviously you have to have so many credits in English, so many credits in math. And one thing that I do want to lead into, Mr. Uller's going to talk about the seals a little bit in more detail, but while this is the base diploma, we are still going to ask every student to start with a diploma seal, one of the readiness seals in mind. So we'll have this, but kind of keep that in mind, that the additional piece is coming. So with English, we are still gonna be required to have 8 total credits. Students have to have 8 total credits. However, the change there, like Ms. Roller just mentioned too, is previously we had to have English 9, 10, 11, and there was some flexibility at senior level. Right now, it is now just 2 credits in English 9. We have to have 1 credit in some form of communications focus. That's why there's an additional, a few additional courses there that we're asking for approval for next year, so we have more options. And then 5 additional English credits. And again, we want to make sure to gear those towards student learning and what their path is after they leave us. Math is 7 total credits. Algebra 1 is still required. That is one that has been required and that remains. 1 credit in personal finance. This is a change, so every student will be required to have a full semester of personal finance, which we're really excited to really get that implemented. And 4 additional math credits. Science, we've got 2 credits in biology 1, again that's the same, a credit in computer science, and this is a course that we asked for approval for last year and is running right now in our building with our current freshmen, so Eric Kelly's doing a wonderful job with that along with Mr. Morrison. 2 additional science credits and then 2 STEM focused credits. And I do want to point out before we go on with these, this is a very high level list. The first question that we had when we read these, you know, what counts as science, what counts as STEM? So that's really been our focus. We didn't get that list until the end of May. So that was really leading into this school year. We've been having meetings with every department, multiple meetings with department chairs, evaluating where we are. So just as we talk about what these requirements are, we are having those conversations and making sure that we have lots of opportunities for kids in each of these areas as they shift. Social studies requirements. 2 credits in U.S. history. This is one that we've seen that's not a change. A credit in U.S. government. And then we've got some more flexibility, 2 credits in world perspectives. So a notable change that we see there is our economics credit is no longer required. That's one that has been offered, that has been required for decades. But within the world perspectives, this opens it up to where students can take advanced world languages, so any level 3 or 4 of any of our world languages will count towards the world perspectives. Obviously, they would still have to take the first levels, and there are multiple social studies courses that they could take as well. PE and health, this was a change that we implemented this year with our freshmen and implemented the waiver. They only have to have 1 credit in PE. Previously, it was 2, and 1 credit in health and wellness. The personalized elective section, 12 personalized elective credits, and this is where we really get into our next level programs of study. So those are all of the pathways that we've talked about that we've implemented in the last 4 to 5 years. That's a real focus along with our fine arts courses, our world languages, any of the electives that we have worked to build that supplement any of our student paths and all of the readiness seals that Ms. Roller's getting ready to talk about. Work-based learning is also a huge piece of those personalized electives that we are planning to work in for as many students as possible. So this lays it out along with the last piece is the preparing for college and careers, which is not new to this group. That is a new requirement in this diploma, but it has been required by Jennings County High School for multiple decades as well. So that is just now required by the whole state.
So then, again, like Mrs. Ebbing said, we will start as a baseline that kids are earning a diploma seal as well. So again, one of those enrollment, employment, or enlistment. So if we'll go ahead, we'll start with the enrollment honor seal. In addition to what you just saw, those 42 credits in the base diploma, they also, to earn the honors enrollment seal, will need to complete at least 4 world language credits and 6 social studies credits. So it bumps up the expectation there. Complete at least 8 math credits. So that would be Algebra 1 plus Geometry, Algebra 2, and Pre-Calculus, or any other advanced math course. This is getting back into more of the Core 40 advanced or academic honors track that we've seen before. Complete at least 6 science credits, biology plus chemistry or physics or another advanced science. And they have to have a C or higher in all of those courses and a cumulative B grade point average. Then they have some flexibility. They have to complete at least one of the following: 4 credits in an AP course, earn 6 college credits, score a 1250 on the SAT or a 26 on the ACT, and then, or complete 2 of the following: at least 3 college credits with an additional 2 credits in AP courses, 2 credits in international baccalaureate courses, or 2 credits in Cambridge courses. So again, it gives kids flexibility in what they want to do there. If they're in a path that they're going to college, the Honors Enrollment Seal is going to help prepare them for that. The next step is the Honors Enrollment Plus Seal. So that would have to earn everything with the Honors Enrollment Seal plus earn a credential of value. This is another thing similar to what courses count for what. The credential of value list was released late last year and is ever changing. When we were at a conference this fall, we were told that it was going to continue to change each year. So something we will stay on top of. But those credentials of value for the Honors Enrollment Plus Seal could be an associate's degree, could be a technical certificate, Indiana College Core, which again for our Enrollment Plus and for what we've got set up at Jennings County High School, they can earn that ICC in-house. So that'll be a big push for us. An AP Scholar with distinction, Cambridge, and an IB diploma. They also have to complete at least 75 hours of work-based learning. This is part of that I think is really exciting. One of the things we struggled with the Academic Honors Diploma is kids wanting to take every upper level class and never stepping out of the building and getting experience in what they may want to be going to college for. That's a fear for me, because it's great if you figure it out when you get there, but if you go all the way through college and then get into the job and you're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I expected, we want those kids to have those opportunities before. So they are required at least 75 hours of work-based learning and demonstrate skill development in communication, collaboration, and work ethic. The next one is, and complete a market-driven credential of value. This is honors employment. So they would have to do one of the following: complete a market-driven credential of value aligned to a specific occupation. So this is going to be a lot of our certifications in our CTE courses. 3 courses in career and technical education, an approved career preparation experience aligned to Indiana's program, or an approved locally created pathway. The next step is they have to complete 150 hours of work-based learning. Again, these are your student to work, school to work kids, and they have to double what those college-based kids are in their work-based learning. Demonstrate skill development, again, in communication, collaboration, work ethic, and meet a higher attendance goal for these students. For Employment Plus, they must earn everything in the Honors Employment Seal Plus. Again, an associate's degree, technical certificate, the Indiana College Core, or an advanced industry certificate. They have a even bigger challenge. They have to complete an additional work-based learning, a total of 650 hours in 1 or more experiences. Now, we've been given a lot of flexibility in this. They can complete these hours outside of the school year, in the summer breaks, to where they can get that something in the model of a pre-apprenticeship or a modern youth apprenticeship. And again, still developing skills and demonstrating them in communication, collaboration, and work ethic. The last one is the Honors Enlistment Seal. They have to take the Introduction to Public Service course, which was informed on tonight, one of them that we're going to add, or an approved locally created equivalent. Emphasis on developing an awareness of the physical standards and character required for the service. 1 year of JROTC in high school. They have to achieve a score of at least 31 on the ASVAB and complete one of the following: 3 components of the career exploration program that is part of the ASVAB, or another career exploration program approved by the IDOE. They have an attendance goal that they have to meet, and then demonstrate their work ethic or their development through communication, collaboration, and work ethic. And theirs has to be externally verified through a mentorship with current military personnel, veterans, or other public safety professionals. So theirs can't even be an in-house verification of those things. To go to Enlistment Plus, They have to achieve at least a score of 50 or higher on the ASVAB, or they can enroll in ROTC at the collegiate level and acceptance to a service academy. They have to demonstrate a leadership through one of the following: 100 hours of community service, holding a leadership role in a co- or extracurricular activity, or completion of 2 seasons of a team-based physical sport or activity. I've had 3 meetings now with the Indiana National Guard. They are working really closely with us schools on how, if students are interested in the enlistment, early enlistment in the Indiana National Guard can actually knock out a lot of these honor SEALs and honors plus SEALs. So that's a great thing. So with all of this flexibility that's going to come with the new diploma, it's really, really important that our kids get off to a great start. Because to be able to get out on work-based learning and get those hours, they have to have a solid core to start. So we created the Panther Freshman Core. And it is 10 credits that is vital that every freshman has when they finish their freshman year. So Sean, if you'll go ahead and click. That starts with their completing those 2 credits in English 9. We know that's a requirement of the diploma. They're going to get those. They can take either Advanced English 9 or regular. They'll need 2 credits in a math course. That's either Algebra 1 or Geometry, depending on if they took Algebra 1 in 8th grade. They need 2 credits in a science course. That could be biology, but we could be physical and life science and then take biology their sophomore year. They need 1 credit in a STEM course. That is that computing fundamentals course that we're running right now. They need a credit in PE, a credit in health, and 1 credit in preparing for college and careers. That gives them a solid base of 10 credits. What it allowed us to do by really focusing on this Panther Freshman Core is it made scheduling for our freshmen a lot easier. You're going to have some opportunities to take some electives, get into our principles courses in CTE, but we need you to have these 10 core areas. That's what's going to set you up for opportunities with co-ops later in life, later in school, work-based learning, career center. It's vital that we accomplish these. Then what else do they have? They still have openings in their schedule. They can look at those next level programs of study principal courses for a CTE pathway. Obviously our fine arts electives, world language courses. They can work in, you may have noticed in that 10, there is no true social studies course. They can take geography and history of the world, study hall, other elective options. So it gives them a lot of flexibility still to personalize some of that, but they also know if I can get this work done in these initial 10 credits, it sets me up for a lot of flexibility down the road. So we are really excited. It has been a big undertaking to really understand. Everything has seemed to come out late. Last year, the final rule was released at the beginning of December, and we were meeting with 8th grade parents in the middle of January to start scheduling 8th graders, so it was a quick turnaround to this is the true new diploma, and we're going to explain it to you in a few weeks. So we feel a lot better about it this year after a year under our belt and being able to continue to offer opportunities for our kids. So any questions from anybody?
Great work.
Thank you. Did anybody want pictures? I can.
Again, that item isn't in form, so. So next we'll go down on the agenda, down for a pre-K update.
Yep, we have more information that has been released. Wish I could say it was good news, but it is not. It has now been released that they are not going to give any new vouchers out for the 2026 year. So that affects all of our pre-K for the 26-27 school year. We're still kind of looking at what our options are and what we have to make sure we sustain our pre-K program, but right now it's just seems to be bad news after bad news. So I just wanted to inform you guys on that and let you know we are still working to provide that pre-K program for our students.
Any discussion or comments?
I'd make a comment that, people need to contact their state legislators, state senators, or state representatives, and the governor, because part of this money we were promised, they clawed it back. And they've cut back. And a couple of years ago, the state made a pretty good commitment to how important it was, pre-K was, and how important it is to our local communities, one of the things that we need. But that's all been put aside now. And, I think we need to let people know. We need to understand this isn't anything that this board did. We were planning on expanding each year to a new school. So I know if you're upset about it, this is a political thing, political ideology, I guess. But, and then you add on top of that, we will be spending last year over $500 million in expanding vouchers for our wealthiest families in the state to send their kids to private schools. We don't have enough to take care. So that needs to be said, needs to be understood. So I don't care what your politics are, if you're for kids, and if you're for helping out the kids who really need it and the families, you need to let your politicians know.
Anything else from the board? Again, that item was an inform. Thank you, Tom. So next we'll go down to JCHS Boys Volleyball Program.
Yes, so Mr. Hartwell's here with us tonight to present a proposal on varsity boys volleyball. So Mr. Hartwell, if you'll share with us the proposal.
Absolutely. So Pat, you said something about our kids, and I think that's what I'm up here to talk about today, is a chance for our kids to have a new opportunity at Jennings County High School for boys volleyball. Now, admittedly, this process started before I became the athletic director, so I'm talking about some things that I was not a part of, but I want to make sure you're aware of what's happened and what's transpired. First of all, boys volleyball in Indiana in April of 2022 became an emerging sport for the IHSAA. That's how they kind of process them creating a sport, and they see how feasible it is for the state to have that as a sport. It coincided also with girls wrestling, so at the same time they created girls wrestling and boys volleyball as an emerging sport. And in 2024, they decided to make both of them an actual sport. You want to go ahead and click the slide. So last year was the first year for girls wrestling and for boys volleyball. We did join last year girls wrestling right away. We did not with boys volleyball, and I'll explain that in a second why that happened. But I want you to understand that this is a growing sport in Indiana. In fact, the Coaches Association says it's a 22% increased growth in team sports, or in boys volleyball. It's the highest growing, quickest growing team sport in Indiana. So it's very popular. I see a lot of boys who want to play this in the state. Last year was 133 schools, high schools, that participated in the Indiana State Tournament, and that's growing. And there are a lot of schools we'll talk about in a second that are from around here. So this is a growing sport, it's a very viable thing. So why Jennings County? Why are we pushing this in Jennings County High School? It's about kids. Kids want to do this. And so last year, a group of male students went to the administration and said they would like to start boys volleyball, knowing that it was a viable thing that was in the state, that it's a state sport now. They want to have boys volleyball. And so they went to Mr. Stevens, the athletic director at the time, and he said we should do a feasibility study. We should figure out if this is a doable thing here at Jennings County High School. And so what does that look like? What are we looking for? Can they sustain funding? Can they make this work, monetarily? Can they go fundraise for their sport? Can they get enough kids that want to do it? Okay? And then they have to compete and see how that goes. I mean, is it something that we want to have around here? And so they did those things last year. They played their first season as a club last year, and they had 15 players to start out with. They ended up with 11 through attrition, which happens, just so you know, in every sport. There's always a couple of kids that don't make it through the whole season. That just happens. They played 12 total matches, and they finished 4-8. So not a great year, but we have that around here too. It's first year for boys volleyball. And if we were to accept this program, I would make sure that we have a full schedule. So schools would be willing to accept us as an opponent, knowing that we're a true IHCA school team. We'd have 22 events that we would schedule. I have plenty of schools who are asking us. I need a pause on that conversation until we get to this point. So we would have a full schedule, and we would be a legit IHSA team like anybody else. The team last year practiced 4 days a week for 2 hours each practice, playing those 12 matches in that time. They also practiced throughout the season like all of our other sports did. This is the club, obviously, but they practice year-round, just open gyms and things of that nature with the boys volleyball team. Currently, we have 12 kids who are wanting to play. But we've not had an official call out yet. These are 12 kids we just know that have played in the past and want to play again. But we have not had a call out to see if there's going to be more kids that want to do it. And to keep things in perspective, this year we had 5 girls in volleyball, in girls golf. So like sometimes the numbers may seem low, but it grows and up and down. We're trying to get this thing off the ground. But 12 is a good starting number, I think, but we can get more than that, it'd be outstanding. So looking at the number of schools in the area that have volleyball, in our conference, just talking about our conference alone, 4 of the 7 schools already have boys volleyball. We would be the 5th, and B&L is actually exploring the options right now of that. The only school that's a holdout right now is Seymour. So that's just our conference. But Columbus schools have it, Madison, and big schools, small schools. Madison has it. Madison Shaw also has it. Southwestern Hanover. It's becoming popular, I think, from the river coming north, but also from Indianapolis coming towards us the other way. But we have a lot of schools we can play and compete with if we were to create a team. Would have to have a full 22-game schedule. And so it's very viable. So why do our kids want, why club versus IHSAA? Well, the reason why is in the club we could not compete in the state tournament. Okay, so this is something that's very important to us, that we want to actually have these kids who care about boys volleyball, who have given their time 4 days a week in practice, and we're in practice year-round to get better, that they have a chance to compete against other schools. And so that's why we want to do this, because the kids have a desire to do that. And if you think about it, if I'm a kid that really wants to play boys volleyball, and we don't have that opportunity, there are schools nearby that offer that. And in the world we live in with IHSAA, unfortunately, transfers happen. And I worry about that, of kids maybe leaving us because they want to play boys volleyball. So the additional cost, we would need to have stipends for coaches. And that's what we're kind of asking for today to make this an official sport. We'd have to have a head coach and an assistant coach, $5,700 for the head coach and $3,800 for the assistant coach. All the other expenses that we would take care of in our department, and that's how it was for all of our sports. We pay for officials, we pay for equipment, we pay for uniforms. I would also pay for coaches' professional development to grow our coaches. We do that in every sport. We want to make sure they're going to clinics and things to get better, and that's the part that pays for that. How do I pay for that? Well, we pay for that through sales of tickets, we fundraise as well, and also concessions. So all those things comes into the pot, and we try to make sure that this is self-sustainable. But I need help with coaching stipends. Are there any questions for me about boys volleyball?
I got one question.
Yeah.
I assume we aren't flush with money in our athletic fund. Would anything else suffer the first year by doing this, or is there enough money to?
No, we would honestly, and Travis, I give you the complete honest answer. I don't feel there's other things I'd be worried about when it comes to spending money. This one I feel pretty comfortable because we have a lot of the equipment already. The gym's already available because it's a spring sport. Uniforms they've already raised money for. And so really, for me, it's just game workers and officials, which ticket sales take care of that for me. And so I can sustain, I'll at least break even, if not make money, on a boys volleyball match.
If you do a call out and you have really, really good turnout, like I think you're sitting with 12 kids interested right now without the call out, say you double that.
Yeah.
Would there be an opportunity, like if they could schedule them on the same thing to save travel and everything, would there be a JV team as well?
Absolutely, that'd be a dream scenario, absolutely. Excellent. Yeah, and there are boys teams already that have JV teams that are looking for that, so they would be happy to schedule us as well. So if we have those numbers, it'd be outstanding.
Do you know, just out of curiosity, do you know of the schools that were on the list, how many of them have JV teams?
So, like the smaller schools, they do not, and so they're still in a growing stage. And even the ones that have enough numbers for JV, some of them aren't doing the JV. I don't have a true number, but the Columbus schools I know have JV schools. The River schools in our conference have JV teams. So that would be a thing that it may not even be like a full JV game. So sometimes like in soccer, as you might know, we play a half because they don't have enough to play, but we would play maybe 2 sets of that. But the River schools I know have it, and the Indianapolis schools, they have a huge buy-in to boys volleyball up there. And so there's a lot of JV teams up there, but I don't have a true number.
And then I'm not a volleyball player, so I apologize for not knowing, but can you please remind me, how many does it take to have a team?
So truthfully, 6 on the floor. You would want to have a few more of that to rotate people in and out in the front line. And I'm speaking like my wife would be so proud of me right now talking about volleyball. But 6 you could play. 12, you would never see in a varsity match 12 girls go on the floor for a girls volleyball match. You just wouldn't see that. So 12 is plenty enough to have a
You have
team.
and
We have
12
a
is the
solid-
number that you said you have.
Yeah, we have that right now. We have a solid varsity team right now. I'm not saying they're all varsity level skill-wise. I'm not trying to pretend that's the case. But we have 12 kids that want to play.
So one of the things, so is it true that the IHSAA recommends that we look at it for 2 years before we actually make the team?
The 2 years thing is not something 2 years thing is from the state's perspective of trying to have a state. Let's look at it for 2 years. Is it growing in the state, or is it growing, or is it not catching fire? So the answer is that they are pushing for it to grow as fast as possible because, like Carrie Rosati, the assistant commissioner in charge of boys volleyball, would love for us to be in it right now. And so she's not concerned about 2 years, 1 year like that. They want to grow it as fast as possible. The 2 years that comes from that is from the emerging sport to the actual official sport that the state pushes. They want to have 2 years to see it as a statewide approach.
And since we're talking about the 2 years, because that is something that we've heard, right?
Yeah.
Is that the IHSAA, they recommend 2 years. Just to clarify, we as a corporation, we don't have policy or guidelines or regulations that require that.
Correct. And to be completely honest with you, our girls wrestling jumped in right away when it became a sport. So I'd be happy to talk about policy and us create policy, but right now we just don't have it. What I do know is we have kids who want to play boys volleyball right now.
I'm also curious, and you may not be able to answer this question. We are really doing this out of order, this whole discussion thing, but that's okay. I'm all about it. But scholarship opportunities. Tell me a little bit about, because I can imagine that boys volleyball, that there could very quickly become scholarship opportunities for students who go on and to play at a collegiate level. What can you tell us about that?
Well, so we talk about high school and growing boys volleyball. It's the same thing's happening in college boys volleyball. And so what we're also seeing, there's a vacuum when you start creating these sports in college and high school. Like we have a lot of boys that weren't growing up playing club volleyball around here, and so there is a desperate need for boys in the college level to play. And so there is going to be money available, and there's also the NIL things you can talk about. But there's money available for these Division III, Division II schools that are looking to find ways to get kids in their school by offering boys volleyball and then saying, if you come here, and so maybe the talent level is not going to be as high as it will be in 10, 15 years, but there are opportunities there that exist for kids to come in and play. Now, there are high-level boys volleyball that exists in America and in college level, and that I'm not sure that our kids are ready to take those scholarship opportunities, but for the lower levels, for the Division IIIs, Division IIs, they exist for our kids to go after and go get.
Any additional questions from the board?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for presenting. Appreciate that.
So we are asking for approval then to have a boys varsity volleyball program starting this school year.
So again, this item is on the agenda for approval, so we'll entertain a motion to approve adding JCHS boys volleyball as a IHSA recognized sport.
So moved.
I have a motion by Kurt. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Pat. Any additional discussion? We've had a lot of discussion, but any additional discussion?
I just have a comment, I guess. Personally, I would like to see us have a boys volleyball program. It's just tough timing, in my opinion, just because we didn't give our employees a raise. We gave them a stipend, and I realized that if you took that money and it's not gonna make a drop in the bucket, I understand that. But I worry what kind of message that sends. And I would hope, me personally, that we could have one next year. I just have concerns about doing it right now.
I'm all about the kids, I always have been. I'm totally for boys volleyball, but I think we ought to wait. Let's see what kind of turnout we get this year with massive funding cuts. I agree the timing's not quite right, and we're not maybe sending the right message. So we can definitely revisit it again and have it for next year. I just think right now, the timing's not good.
So I, as a former student athlete myself, and especially in a team sports setting, I agree that the being part of a team sport and the camaraderie you build with those teammates. I mean, I have old wrestling teammates, football teammates, from when I was in school that, I mean, still keep up to this day, best of friends. And while I do understand, the timing issue, we got a little bit of a funding issue here with SEA 1, but to take away from out of our end a pretty meager amount of money that was coming out of our end, to take away those potential memories of those kids making that sectional run, making that Cinderella story happen for their lives. If any of these boys are seniors, we take that away from them forever. They don't ever get that chance again. So I understand the financial side of it. It's not a good time, but I'd hate for these kids to wonder what might have been based on our vote tonight.
I'm struggling, and anybody that knows me knows I'm a sports fan. I love watching all kinds of sports and everything. I'm going between it because I'm looking at the financial side of it. I'm looking at it basically only being there for 1 year. Is the commitment really there? And how many more kids are going to come out? I don't want to take anything away from, kids, but also we've got to look at everything that financially wise, what are we looking at? Is money going to be there? Is it not going to be there? And I know you mentioned the girls wrestling. The other side that I'm looking at on that is the girls wrestling, when it originally came in, those girls were able to wrestle on the guys' team. I understand the guys could not play on the girls' volleyball team. So that's a little different there, because when the girls did take off, I mean, it's unbelievable. And I've got a granddaughter that wrestles, and to see where it was when she first started and where she is as a junior, or where the team is as a junior. So I'm struggling. I
walked in here understanding both sides. And after listening to your presentation, I mean, you already heard what I said a while ago about money. We know where the money problems are coming from. And that's something we've all got to work on. But if you're telling me you got 12 dedicated young men that are ready to do this, and for that amount of money, to tell them, well, you're gonna have to wait another year. I mean, I understand both sides. But I think if we were talking a larger amount of money, if I divided that up between every teacher, it's not gonna be very much. So I think I'm gonna fall on the side. I don't think we gain anything by waiting at this point.
So I have one other question. I mean, the hope is if we do it, that we have large numbers. And you said, what if we got 20 kids? Would that lock us in to having a JV team, even if we voted tonight?
Sorry, I was asking her to take the radio
No,
that's
so-
like going off.
So when they
Sure.
done the call out for the team and we end up having 20 kids, if we voted tonight to have a program, would that lock us into having a JV because we had so many kids come out?
No, if we have over what we estimate is enough for one team, we'll come back to Astor and review that. Could we split the schedule? We did something similar with middle school soccer this year, where we split up the games between 2 teams. So that's an option too, versus JV varsity. We would just have to look at it.
If you have a large amount, are we talking then having to hire an additional coach, or would it just be based on the 2 that are
I think
there?
2 would be plenty. I mean, I don't want to ask for another coach. I think
I
2
wasn't
is
sure if
plenty.
you had.
And we could ask Joe just to bring back to us after call out even, just come back and give an update on where we are and what that looks like, and share that with the board.
And there's a strong possibility you'd always have a volunteer coach.
Absolutely.
Very good
We
point.
already have a lot of
Yeah,
that.
we do. And I think that if we put our weight behind it, saying it's going to be a legit sport, it's going to grow quickly, because right now we just don't. There's up in limbo about what doesn't exist. And if I'm thinking about running track, or I'm going to be a volleyball player, if volleyball's not gonna go to sectional, if volleyball's not gonna do those things, then I'm gonna probably just run track. And so that will affect our numbers, I would think.
Joe, would you say there's some of these kids who, can't make the basketball team, or they don't play football for whatever reason, or there's some of these kids that'd be, their only shot to do something, would that be an accurate statement?
That's an accurate statement. I think there's an accurate statement. There's some kids that this would be what they would choose if they had, even if they were doing something else, they would want to do boys volleyball. So that does exist. But yes, there's some kids we're going to catch that wouldn't play anything else.
I think the discussion is just about over. I just want to add, recognize that it is a difficult year, right, financially. You all have heard it, experienced it. We've, of course, been working through several decisions. I believe if I wrote down the number right, and since the PowerPoint is not up, you'll hopefully forgive me if I get it a little bit wrong, but I believe the dollar amount for the coaching that you're asking for is in total $9,625. And while we are not giving raises this year, we are giving stipends. And I think that's extremely important, taking care of your people. I personally believe it's also extremely important to take care of our kids. And so I think I want to be clear, I think with those in the board and those that might listen, I think although this board tonight is going to make a decision, and it's probably going to be a split vote, not probably, it sounds like it is. But I think everybody in their own way is trying to take care of the kids. It looks different for different people, but I think everybody on the board up here is trying to take care of the kids. So I just want to point that out. For me, this dollar amount is you're right, Pat, is not going to be a whole lot if you were to divide it up between all team members. But for 12 plus kids starting this new sport, I think it's worth a risk. And again, I'm one member of the board. So, does anyone else have anything else that they would like to bring forward before we take a vote? Okay. So we have a motion. We have a second already. So now we'll entertain, or we'll, for all of those in favor of adopting JCHS boys volleyball as an IHSAA recognized sport. 3. All of those opposed. 3. So for those in the room, according to Robert's Rules of Orders, which is what we follow, a passing of a motion has to be by majority. So because this is a 3-3 vote, the motion fails. So what will happen going forward is that boys volleyball will remain a club sport. The vote that we took tonight does not affect the club sport, that label. So all it does is take into account whether it will be a IHSAA recognized sport or not. So in case there were questions. Okay. So next we have JCMS girls and boys soccer programs.
Yes, so soccer has been the fastest growing sport at the middle school level. So we're asking for approval to officially split the soccer teams into boys and girls so that we're able to pay those stipends for both versus being co-ed teams. So asking for official approval to make middle school soccer boys and girls teams.
Okay. We'll entertain a motion to approve making JCMS girls and boys soccer programs separate. We entertain a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion by Kurt. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat. Any discussion?
Do we have numbers as to how this has increased?
The exact numbers from previous years, no, I don't have that in front of me. She just told me it was the fastest growing sport. She gave you a percentage one day. Leah did. Do you remember what it was off the top of your head?
No, I do not have that with me.
We started out with one co-ed team a few years ago, and since then, this year, I think they ran 3 teams.
Yeah.
So it is growing exponentially, which I would attribute to a lot of local efforts at the youth level.
And what is the money increase attached to this?
So, I'm sorry, what?
The increase on this would be $2,000.
Just about, it's just under, it's $1,925, because it would be an additional assistant coaching position.
So can you, I'm kind of wrestling with the difference in this and the boys volleyball. So as I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is already an established sport, girls are already playing, we've already got the team split up, and it was an oversight by the school that we did not have enough coaches and split, correct? So we really, in your opinion, do we have any choice but to, we have to compensate the girls' coaches the same as the boys' coaches, correct?
It is correct, they need to be compensated equally. The other piece is, I think that they would say their competition when they're split is what they're used to from this year. So if it weren't to be approved, they would have to go back to all teams being co-ed, which would also change perhaps how they are scheduled. So there would really be an impact. And yes, it was an oversight that they were inadvertently, although we spent the same level of money, we had a coach donating his entire salary back. And so that's how the oversight was able to be there, because there wasn't a difference in pay. But they were already split this year into boys and girls. So this is continuing that practice, which they've grown accustomed to. And the cost difference would, since we don't have someone donating their salary back anymore, would be the $1,925.
It's actually $2,600, sorry. We currently have one head, two assistants, so it'd be the increase of a head coach. So it's actually a $2,600 increase. I was just thinking about that.
No, that's not what I have.
That's not the case?
From what we had earlier, let me pull out a chart, I can share names. This year we had a boys head coach, which was Brad Morris. We had an assistant boys coach, which is J.R. Douglas. We had a head coach for girls, which was Derek Hillen. And we had an assistant coach for girls, which was John Simmons. 3 of those positions were paid from the ECA fund. The middle school went ahead to make sure they stayed within budget. They covered one of those assistant coach positions out of the middle school athletic fund. So what we would be doing is approving that we're gonna start paying that position as well from the athletic fund. If it comes down to it, the money's all been coming out of some school account already. It's just the semantics of we are agreeing to change one of them to the district level account out of the middle school athletic fund.
Well, I asked that question just so we could clarify, because I know you guys are sitting here that want volleyball and we just voted against it. So I want to try to clarify why I think this is different.
We go back to the same from the chart that we were given, then we go back to the same as what we paid in 23-24. And then in 24-25, it was down, but 25-26, that's where the difference is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it was different in 24-25 because they didn't have one of the assistant coaches and one of the head coaches donated their entire salary back.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the difference I was talking about was from 21-22 to 23-24. That's where the initial part of it went up. Yes, I'm sorry about that.
And that's where he's referring to that head coach donating their salary back. So you can see where there's been a lot of different changes and things that occurred with people donating salaries that it wasn't really clear. So wanting to clarify that, officially split into the teams and make sure we're giving the equitable 4 stipends completely from the ECA fund instead of using the middle school athletic fund to supplement.
And according to the title program, this is necessary because it's already been split. So it's something that has.
No, you could technically go back to co-ed teams. If it's not approved, you would technically have to go back to co-ed teams.
But we don't have numbers on that.
Correct. And I don't know if that would change interest level too, right? There might be students that would prefer not to be on a co-ed team and choose not to participate.
No, I meant we don't have numbers as to how the boys team and the girls team has increased.
The exact numbers for each year of enrollment, no, I do not. I can, if you'd like to table it and I can bring that back at a future date, I can, because we are not in season for soccer at middle school level.
However, we do have a motion and a second on the floor, so if that's something that's desired, we still have to address the motion that's on the floor.
They would have to be retracted.
Correct.
Or voted on, right?
Yes, we can vote on it.
Or
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Any additional discussion? So again, we have a motion and we have a second, and that is to approve JCMS girls and boys soccer programs, separating those teams. So now will all of those in favor? 6. So 6-0. So the JCMS girls and boys soccer program separation, that does pass. Okay. Next, we'll go down to teacher appreciation grant, and this is an inform.
Yes, and this is also in your policy packet for first reading, an update that aligns with teacher appreciation grant. So the state completely changed what teacher appreciation grant is this year. In the past, it has gone to almost all teachers who met the qualifying standards of having taught for us a year before, still being present, being in the effective range on their evaluation. And all teachers got one stipend around holiday time, around December annually. This year, it has been changed where it cannot be awarded to more than 20% of employees, and they must meet certain state criteria and any additional local criteria to potentially receive those stipends. And it cannot go to all staff, it has to be to less than 20% of total staff. So that taken into account, we had a choice as a school system of whether to accept those dollars or not. And given the fact that we knew we were only able to give a stipend this year, we felt like any additional funds that could go towards our teachers' pockets, even if there are some parameters of it that we don't love, are monies we should accept for our teachers to find a way to distribute as equitably as we are allowed to within the rules. And so this is the criteria that we have developed. We've had an opportunity to discuss with some teachers and to get some feedback, and have made some adjustments, and this is the final version that we have. So I just wanted to share the overview of what that looks like, and what we'll be doing is sharing this with staff in the upcoming week, and they'll have an opportunity to apply for some of those stipends. So they have some eligibility requirements that are the same as in the past, where they have to have taught where they have to have taught for the complete 24-25 school year prior to this year, and remain employed when this is distributed in April or May. There's some other additional criteria there that you can see. They would be applying for a stipend of $3,500. They first have to meet the required state criteria of assessment data. So they have to show a significant impact that shows they exceeded expected student growth or achieved a notable improvement trend for a majority of their students. That's data they'd have to turn in. They can show that on federal level data, national assessments like AP, SAT, state level data like iRead, iLearn, or on local assessment data that we have. Heggerty, Phonics, iReady, iExcel, things of that nature. Once they have that criteria met, if someone says, I would like to choose to apply for this and I have data to match that, then we are asking that we will also be asking teachers to turn in on that application some local level criteria that are local additions that align with our strategic plan goals, like committee and school involvement, teacher leadership activities, supporting students with enrichment activities, being a leader involved in that, creating student opportunities there, professional or student achievements or awards for students on their roster, and then they'll have an opportunity for additional points on the rubric with a personal statement or additional documentation. So we will take all of that into account, and we will be able to award, based on the initial funding estimate the state gave us, around 35 stipends of that amount. So that is a process that we'll be announcing, getting details out to staff and working through, and then hopefully having that application open around Thanksgiving week and be open for a period of time. So that's what TAG looks like. It is different than it has been in the past, but we anticipate it being very similar for at least 2 years, because that's what the legislature built in the budget cycle. So we know that lasts those 2 years.
That item is an inform. Does anyone have questions?
So will there be like an information session to the teachers explaining everything to them also?
Yes, we were just having conversations with doing that probably in multiple different ways, whether it's an email, whether it's a video, whether we hold a session that people can come into So we'll probably work on getting some feedback on how people prefer to get information, because it is a complicated process based on what the state criteria is. Also, we'll have an opportunity for everyone to reach out to Carrie, and she'll kind of help field questions on what's eligible and what's not on the data end from the state.
So we would have some teachers that wouldn't be eligible for whatever reason.
You are correct. The state says from the beginning that our guidance counselors aren't able to apply, and instructional coaches have some very specific data that they would have to produce to be able to apply.
Those type of art.
If they have data that he can use to apply, let me give you an example. So if I'm a PE teacher and I give the presidential assessment at the beginning of the year, and then I've given it at the end of the year, and I can show my kids grew on skills, that's something that can be considered for local assessment.
But fine
data.
arts wouldn't be able to show that, would they?
Each one will have to think through what they have, and then what our conversations have been. We didn't find out about this until, August, the first guidance was starting to be released, maybe September. So it's really more about forward thinking. How can we prepare for this again for next year so people can be collecting data for the same process for next year? Which is why we did not choose to do the tier 2 and 3 stipends, because their criteria was very specific that we didn't have advance notice of.
And the state is what changed the criteria,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
And we expect to use up all this money. I mean, you expect we'll have
We do.
enough people that.
we do.
Again, that item is an inform. So now we'll go down under professional staff. We have one recommendation.
Yes, I have one, please, for Hope Ferguson to be approved as the Jennings County Middle School cheer coach.
So moved.
Motion by Travis, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Cheryl, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next we have a resolution. Philip?
Yes, this is the standard resolution we do every year for the 25, this is for the 25-26 certified supplemental pay for education changes within teachers, lane changes.
Entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Mary Lynn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll go down under support staff. Quite a few recommendations.
Yes, please. Asking for approval, please, for Nathan Capps to be approved as Jennings County Middle School volunteer boys basketball coach. Amber Cooper, Jennings County Middle School sped parapro. Kendra Irwin, Sand Creek Elementary parapro. Jacob Ross, Scipio Elementary 5th and 6th grade basketball coach. Bailey Sanders, Jennings County High School volunteer girls basketball coach. Thomas Shepard, Scipio Elementary 5th and 6th grade basketball coach. Mary Unsworth, JCEC Certified Clinical Medical Assistant Instructor. Tony Wicker, Jennings County School Corporation Bus Aide. Alexis Willie, Jennings County Middle School Sped Parapro. And then we have the following elementary basketball volunteer coaches for 3rd and 4th grade, please. Jessica Browning, Riley Clark, Nathan Harrison, Derek Hillen, Sean Hooper, Alyssa Kent, and Jenny Kent.
We'll entertain a motion to accept those as read.
So moved.
Motion by Cheryl, do I have a second? Second by Travis, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0.
Okay, and then I have 2 additional volunteer 3rd and 4th grade coaches that we'd like to recommend pending their hiring requirements be met, and that's for Lauren Clark and Marcus Moore, please.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion by Pat, do I have a second by Kurt? Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll go down to classified employee stipend approval.
Yes, so asking for approval for a stipend as well for our classified employees, a one-time stipend of $400.
Motion by Travis, do I have a second by Mary Lynn? Do I have any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we have classified pay scale step for experience.
Yes, asking for approval to follow the pay scales, allowing the step for all that applies to, so they would increase in their experience and move up on the scale and get the pay rate increase subsequently attached.
I'll entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mary Lynn, do I have a second? Second by Travis, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we're down insurance.
Yes, so there is on our insurance plan, the classified single plan for F, We have to adjust that annually to make sure that we're meeting the government regulations. So asking for approval to make those annual adjustments for the cost of that for our employees.
We'll entertain a motion to approve those changes. So moved. Motion by Cheryl, do I have a second? Second by Pat, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll go down to finances where we have quite a few donations.
Yes, asking board approval of the following donations. For Hayden Elementary, Jennings County Community Foundation, $138 to Miss Downing's 5th grade class for vocabulary subscription. A high school, Billy Bloomer Memorial Golf Scramble, $500 to the Panther Pantry. Expert Eye Care, Cassie brought us $800 for attendance incentives. And James County Community Foundation classroom grants to Eric Kelly, Kristen Campbell, and Keenan Castetter. And at the middle school, we've got George's Family Pharmacy, $150 for attendance incentives. At Sand Creek, we had the Sand Creek trustee, $1,500 for student miscellaneous and snacks. And at the corporate level, we've got Cummins Kessler Science subscriptions for supplemental curriculum for the 6th graders, or all 6th graders, and the Hope Food Program, Corinthian Baptist Church, $225. Graham Baptist Church, $675, Kiwanis Club of North Vernon, $225, NBIC, $250, Donna Strublin and John Strublin, $225 each.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve those donations as read.
So moved.
Motion by Pat, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kurt, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0, and we have one additional donation.
I have additional donation to the Hope Food Program, Marilyn Wickham, $1,000.
We'll entertain a motion to approve. So, motion by Travis. Cheryl seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor? 5, abstain, 1. Next, we have an additional resolution.
Yes, this is the normal resolution when there's more than 2 weeks between a meeting. It's authorizing the treasurer and deputy treasurer of Jennings County Schools to make payments on claims without prior board action from now till December 11th, 2025. Also allow the treasurer, deputy treasurer to make transfers of appropriations within education, debt service, and operations funds in order to balance major account classifications.
We'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Mary Lynn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next, we'll go down to property, SCE roof project.
Yes, as we do every year, just want to give an update on the roof situation. You guys approved the concept of doing a roof replacement like we do every year. Section B is what's going to be done out of Sand Creek. The specs are done. The bids have been published. We'll be opening those bids in December, and I'll be coming back to you in January with a approval of the recommended vendor.
That item isn't in form, so we look forward to hearing the results of those bids. Next, NVE Shelter House PTO project.
Yes, the PTO has approached us about a shelter house being built in the backside of NVE, and the purpose of it's for STEM, which I'll read the exact definition of that. But I just wanted to, the process has gone through. They've reached out to us. Me and Roy met with them. We looked at the variety of areas, found the one that was best suited for this particular shelter house. The shelter houses, picture of it, are the areas in your packet, and it's going to look very similar to the other shelter house that's there. And the purpose of it. So this is a script about the purpose of it. The NVE PTO shelter house would be an outdoor hands-on learning space that will serve the whole school. It is designed as an ongoing initiative with new addition each year as funding allows. For example, electricity, fencing, STEM-centered activities, and other enhancements. The shelter encourages hands-on discovery. Students observe, test, and explore with natural materials, making abstract ideas more concrete. Outdoor projects strengthen problem-solving, critical thinking, teamwork, and connect activities to cross-disciplinary STEM learning. And the reason why I'm asking for approval is they're paying for all of it, but we would basically pay it through the corporation, through their ECA to us, just to give that instead of having them having to do it through theirs. It's under the threshold, so it wouldn't cause any issues on our side, and it's 100% funded through them. We just be the transfer agent in that. So that's why I'm asking for approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Pat, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kurt, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0.
I'm just gonna add on that, that is an amazing, long-term, many-year savings project, the NBE PTO, and then their support of NBE working towards STEM certification. So we really appreciate that partnership.
Very active group. So now we're down under operations. We have master calendar approval.
Yes, so it's time to start talking about 26-27 calendar, as hard as that is to believe. And so the JCCTA, the union, was given 3 options for our next year's school calendar, and that option is was selected is in your packet. It has the first start date for school on August 5th. It does have a built-in additional makeup day on March 29th. The state has asked us to put more makeup days in school calendars, and so we've added one. And the last student day being May 21st. And our school breaks, fall break, spring break, they follow the Career Center schedule, so our students don't miss any time here or there who attend the Career Center. So, asking for approval for the 26-27 calendar. I would add if there's any changes from the state side, we could have some adjustments, but asking for approval at this time.
Entertain a motion to approve that master calendar as presented.
So moved.
Motion by Cheryl, do I have a second? Second by Travis, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Next we have an MOU under relations.
Yes, several standard MOUs in a row here. So the first one is for IU and the school corporation for us to allow teacher candidates and practicum education students in classrooms. So asking for approval.
Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Pat, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kurt, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0.
The next MOU is with Ivy Tech for high school for our dual enrollment program, standard every year.
Entertain a motion to approve. Motion by Mary Lynn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. One more.
Next MOU is with Ivy Tech for their nursing students to come into the schools and work with our school nurses. So asking for approval.
One that's near and dear to my heart.
So moved.
Motion by Cheryl, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Travis, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. So next we're down under other. We have some updates.
We do have some others tonight. We have been informed that we qualify at our middle school for a special tutoring grant program through the Mind Trust. It's called Indiana Learns. So this program, we qualify because the middle school was classified as needs improvement based on data from 2 years ago. So that means our students who failed iLearn and they have to meet the criteria of also qualifying for free and reduced lunch, their parents can apply for up to $1,000 of free tutoring. So we would like to sign that MOU and agree to allow that free tutoring in our schools. We would work internally to offer our teachers the opportunity to be tutors and be paid for their time being tutors after school. We would need to follow policy that tutors can't be the teacher for that subject for that student in their class. So we have a plan for that to take into account. But if a teacher had the total of up to 4 max students they were tutoring and they attend all of the weekly sessions, they could earn a stipend of up to $3,240 through the program. So asking for approval of that MOU and allowing our middle school students to qualify for some tutoring programming. It is no cost to the district, I should add. That would all be paid through grant funds.
So again, we're entertain a motion to approve the MOU.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mary Lynn, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Pat, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. Now we're gonna post some time.
Yes, so then attach that, since we don't meet again till December, and this is a timely program, asking if we can post some tutoring positions for the Indiana Learns grant.
I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Cheryl, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kurt, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0. permission to lease a sped bus.
Yes, this is, in the February 2024 meeting, you guys approved the purchase of one sped bus. Lead time on buses are a little stretched out, so it finally got completed. And I just got the paperwork this week to go into the lease. I budgeted for this, so this item wasn't really a surprise. I made sure we had that in the 25 budget since we did it obviously in the spring of 24. So that is just the final step of it.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Travis, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Kurt, any discussion? All those in favor? 6-0.
And that is it.
Wow, that was a long meeting. Appreciate everybody hanging in with us. We'll now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Pat, second by Mary Lynn. All those in favor? 6-0, meeting adjourned.